Just what did you see defensively for the team tonight?
Defensively, I didn't think we did a good job as far as keeping the ball in front. Too many uh, points in the paint as far as uh, kick out threes. They were driving it, spraying around, just containing penetration, and then having, just the discipline to sit down and guard and just, um, too many. I thought it was too many straight line drives in the paint, and they were just spraying around, and then we were closing short to all of their players tonight, and that's partly on us as a staff. So I take blame, for that. Just got to do a better job of preparing them, on a nightly basis.
Throughout this season thus far, you guys have been really good on the defensive glass. That wasn't the case tonight. Just what did you see giving up some of those offensive rebounds?
Well, the Raptors over the last few years, they've always been one or two in offensive rebound, and they're built for that. It's something that we were expecting. We just didn't execute it. This game comes down to fundamentals and boxing out, and we had them. I thought some momentum at times, but we failed to, retrieve some of those long rebounds, and that gave them second chance opportunities, kind of stalled our comeback, if you will.
What was, with the issues defensive rebounding, what was the thought process with going with Bobby, a little more Giannis, I guess a little smaller with Brooke off the court? Was that because you were down so big at a
Well,
point?
just trying different combinations and trying to get something going. And I thought Bobby came in and gave us some really good minutes. And you're just trying different combinations, throwing a couple things against the wall and see if it works. And there were times where we had the momentum, just didn't finish off our defense possessions, so didn't allow us to get back in the game. But there was, I always have to go back and watch the film, but I think there were just a couple of those times where we had, good momentum, and then, a ball bounced over our head, or we didn't box out, and they made us pay every time. So this is good because you get to learn, and sometimes getting embarrassed is good because you can focus. It forces you to focus on doing the right things consistently, and this is what this league is about. You can. Every team is good, and especially when you're on the road, you have to execute at a high level and tip your hats off to them. They play extremely hard, and we just have to learn from it.
Malik, what did you see them do against Giannis? I know OG had a lot to do with that, but what did you see to keep him from sort of establishing any sort of rhythm offensively?
I thought Giannis was great. You can't stop him one-on-one, and they were sending multiple bodies at him. We just got to continue to execute and make teams pay when they send multiple bodies and, concentrate on our spacing. But it's tough to score when, we kept taking the ball out every time. And we're not to get, Giannis he thrives in the open floor, and we didn't give him the opportunity to do that because, our defense, we couldn't get stops when we needed to. So, we had to walk it up or, take it out each time. So, but again, this is just a snapshot, and we just got to continue to work and get better. Watch film tomorrow, find ways to get better.
Malik Beasley, he was a big part of that momentum shift. Can you talk to me about his performance tonight?
I think Malika's tonight was just a ball product when we did it the right way, when we moved the ball and executed, shot wide open threes. And so, the challenge for us always is one, executing at a high level. Sometimes that's challenging when you have such good talent and special talent, but you have to remember that this is always 5 men on offense, 5 men on defense, and you're going to get the team's best. They're going to play extremely hard, and so we have to cut harder. We got to run harder. We got to execute harder and better at a higher level. But again, I'd rather this happen at game number 4 where we can learn from it.
Was there anything you didn't like about the first first 30 seconds from Brooke that led you taking him out of the game specifically?
No, Chris was. I thought Chris was done, but he wasn't. So when I found out he wasn't, I put Chris in and then tried to go small. That's all that was. Brooke didn't do anything wrong, but I thought initially I thought Chris was done with his minutes, but he had a few more, so I wanted to throw him back in there.
One of the good takeaways, some of those young bucks, they got their first NBA baskets tonight, like Dre, Chris Livingston. Can you talk to me a bit about their energy on the court and just the opportunities this game presented for them?
They play extremely hard. And being a professional in this league, you control what you can control, and that's your attitude and your effort. And when you maximize those two things and play as hard as you can, good things happen. And that's just the way it is. You call it a basketball guys or whatever, but those two guys that come in, they play hard, they pick up full court. And I know it's limited minutes, but that's what you're supposed to do when you come into a game. And you give yourself a chance when you do that. So it's pleasant to see that they know this from a young age, and that'll carry them well. There's all kind of ways to impact a game. It's not always on the scoring end, but I like what I see from them when they check in.
I think Dame ends the game with just 9 shots. Is it something that, we've talked about him getting blitzed a lot, and maybe that'd be a bit of a surprise. Is there something you guys can do to get him more involved or get more shots?
Well, to me, you have to just take what the defense gives you. If they're going to put 2-3 people on them, just somebody's going to shoot an open 3. And when we did that, we got open shots. Beasley was, he knocked down a couple wide open because swing, open 3. Sometimes it may not be your night as far as shot attempts, but find out different ways to be a playmaker and make the team pay for putting multiple bodies on Giannis and Dame, and I have to do better job with that. But it's still early, and those guys are doing the best they can to trying to figure out each other's strengths and play with each other, and they'll come with time. Again, this has been a small body of work. We got a long road in front of us, and it's all about the process, step by step. And tomorrow we get back to work and watch film, get on the court. And one thing I love about this team that they've shown that they can, take a punch and get back up and continue to learn and grow. So, nobody's panicking or anything, but we do got to make our corrections.
On that note, how do you feel a two-man game between Giannis and Dame is developing so far, and do you think it needs anything other than just time to?
Yeah, it just takes time. They'll get to know each other. It's what, the 4th game. They played 2, I want to say 3 preseason games together. They'll figure it out. They're high IQ, intelligent players, MVP players. And I got to do better as a coach of figuring out ways. But, I think we just have to commit to what we're doing. And it takes time, like building the right habits and executing and, not just for a quarter, but for 4 quarters. And we get there, and we've shown that we can do it. It just takes, sometimes these things take a little time.